is now live. I'm Eric Werntgen. Today's featured local artist is Taylor Tiger Martin. Live at First Mile Brewing Company about a month ago. Let's take a listen. Today is Wednesday, March 20th. All right, that's Taylor Tiger Martin, live at First Mile Brewing roughly a month ago. He is today's featured local artist. And this is Wake Up SJV. I keep wanting to say St. John Valley, but hey, that's the abbreviation. Today is Wednesday, March 20th. We're at Hump Day. Hey, we're halfway home. Should be just an exceptional weekend weather-wise, and today is no exception. Goodness gracious, it's beautiful out there. Hopefully the garden is in place at your place because the sun is shining. We're looking at high 60s, 70s here the next few days. Just beautiful, a beautiful time to be here in the St. John Valley. Coming up at 7:30, we have, pretty excited about this, get to flip the script, so to speak. We have Rennie Kluge from WAGM TV. He is the sports director and the assistant news director. So I get to interview him after he has done that multiple times here for sports throughout Aroostook County. One of the most well-respected sports directors now and reporters in the state. So we are very excited to have him on board. We're going to talk about the New York Mets. We are undefeated this season. So we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about local, regional, national sports and all news. So just honored, quite frankly, and excited to have Rennie Kluge here at 7:30. Today's featured local musician, Taylor Tiger Martin. Just incredible with the fiddle. You saw him there at First Mile Brewing. Tiger is also the music teacher for the District 27 and a farmer He's up there with a great spot here in Fort Kent, and some of the best soccer players in his family I've ever seen. But I'm a little biased. So we got an action-packed day. Let's take a look at the weather, brought to you by the National Weather Service out of Gray, Maine via Caribou. And this is going to touch us down in the Frenchville Northern Aroostook Regional Airport is where we get this report out of. Once again today, look at this. Patchy frost. I missed that, luckily. Taylor might have saw that up in the woods. 75 degrees is your high tonight. Here's the key. Save the blankets, put those on your bodies because it's only going to get down to 46 overnight. Back up to 80. Are you kidding me tomorrow? 80 degrees. But here we go again. My old nemesis. Look, 28 mile an hour gusts of wind. But it's 80 degrees, so I need a windsurfer. Anybody got a windsurfer I can try with 80 degrees? I may try that. My father, back in the day, on the mean streets of Vermont, in the lakes out there, we used to windsurf. Not easy, folks. Look at the low Thursday night, 54. You can sleep outside, John Coletta style. Friday, 70. I mean, this is beautiful. Saturday, 62. And then Sunday, we're going to cap off this stretch in the 70s. Just beautiful. So that keeps us happy for now. We could even talk to Rennie Kluke a little bit about weather, because I know in his business and in my business, we're always battling Mother Nature. But it looks great. Let me stop my screen share. Getting a little more used to bouncing around here on Zoom. I think you're back with me. Coming up Thursday is, I got a neck problem here, is none other than legendary Mr. Coach Murph. That's Larry Murphy by way of Caribou and now in Fort Kent. He's got a pulse on everything in this area. So Larry Murphy, and we're hoping his wife will give her insight, especially on the educational spectrum, as she still works here for the district. But we're going to bring in definitely Murph tomorrow. Friday's show still up in the air. Trying to get, if anybody out there, we got 4 people live. Wake up, SJV. We're trying to get someone from Northern Maine Medical Center. I've been working via email with Director of Communications, Joanne Fortin, and we're trying to line up a medical professional. We'd love to talk to one of them. Okay, so if anybody out there works for Northern Maine Medical Center and you want to do an interview, let me know. Let's recap the news, if we could. 7:09 here, Eastern time, Chris Corbett, not Texas time. 7:09. So we've got Rennie Kluke here and roughly, do the math, 7:30. 19 minutes. Here's what I got for you. Did have a chance. Now, first of all, I want to give a shout out. I am a member of Leslie Marquis' senior presentation panel, along with Miss Kathy Bouchard. We make the best team, the 3 of us. But we sat in on and had the privilege to listen to 10 seniors yesterday, 10 out of 57 total here at the District 27 Fort Kent Community High School, give their senior presentation. Let me tell you what, we have some smart, intelligent young minds Today we have 10 more, so we're looking forward to that. They will graduate here in the district on June 12th. June 12th. And that's going to be pretty special. Mr. Steve Doucette, the Deuce, who we've had here, the member of Bad Mother Boogie, by the way. We had him on, that's my second we had him on last week, and he talked about graduation, and we've heard some more insight on that from Miss Jocelyn Saucier, Aroostook County Teacher of the Year. Friday, June 12th is going to be pretty special. We'll be on the soccer field, 57 seniors spread out, 2 vehicles each, 10 feet apart. Speeches, music, diplomas, and then fireworks. We've now heard fireworks up there at Lonesome Pine Trails. So Mike Vizin and his crew have lined that up with the district and Mr. Steve Doucette. June 5th will be the last student day for all Valley Unified Schools. So right across this beautiful valley, we'll shutter down from remote learning. On that day here in the district, there will also be a Zoom 8th grade promotion. So a Zoom 8th grade promotion as we just try to make this special and meaningful, of course, for our fine students. It's all about the students. We love them, we miss them, and we're still there for you. I want to give you a quick peek here as we have a little time at the integration plan that's been rolled out by the Valley Unified Service Center. Let's take a quick look at the 4 R's. Back to screen share. Boom. And there it is. So this is the COVID-19 school reintegration plan. We're not going to read this word by word, but we are planning for our safe, efficient, an equitable return to school. So this will perhaps give everyone a better look on what this education will look like moving forward. There's 3 parts: return to school roadmap, reintegration teams, and then the reintegration plan timeline. Just exceptional work has been done here by Valley Unified officials. You see the teams. You see this guy named Eric Werntgen right there. Good luck pronouncing that, but that's the health and wellness team. So you see there's 4 teams spread out across the valley. We're all working to try to plan this out. And Valley Unified, here's the timeline. So this is where the 4 R's come into play, and you get a look at the calendar. So the first one is resumption, June 1st to June 26th. So this will get us through the end of the school year, the end of remote learning, and then into the summer as we plan, we network, we continue to see where COVID-19 goes. Hopefully it goes, well, away. Gradual return to on-site work, closing out the academic school year, specific remote learning, professional development, that's huge, to prepare for a variety of instruction and school day schedules in the fall. So at this point, we've all got a toolbox. I'm a phys ed teacher at the high school level, as well as the athletic director. So just going through this in weekly Zooms, emails, talking to colleagues in both professions, you build stuff. You get a resource box of stuff to use, and we're trying to all have that and see how we're going to roll that out. June 29th to August 19th. That's kind of the second half of summer, and that'll bring us into the beginning of the school year. Implementation of work site safety measures. So you'll see recovery, then recalibration, and then reconstruction. So this goes all the way to October 5th and beyond. And there's a little explanation of the resumption phase down there. So anyway, if you'd like to see that, please visit the Valley Unified Service Center, or you can simply, here in the district, go to www.sad, that's the letter SAD, the number 27.org. And that'll give you an idea of what's going on. Here in state news, big press conference yesterday, or briefing, as you will. Nero Shah, Dr. Nero Shah, Janet Mills, the governor, at their, I believe that's 2 p.m. Thank you again, Kathy Bouchard, for playing that while we waited for a senior to come in, but we got it hot off the news wires. Campgrounds. Originally, campgrounds were not going to be opened, I believe, until after June 1st. They've now moved that up so we can open them up this weekend, which is very exciting, I'm sure, for folks here in the St. John Valley. Campgrounds will be open. There are restrictions. There are concerns that continue to be out there. I mean, you need a face mask when you cannot practice proper social distancing, and you need common sense. Don't spit on people. If you're going to sneeze, use a chicken wing, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's so much for us now to be aware of. And, you know, some of these campgrounds are on top of each other. So just be careful, folks. A couple other things that hit close to home. Although campgrounds are open, gyms and nail salons statewide continue to be on hold. And the border here, the Canadian border, the Prime Minister of Canada announced yesterday that they would extend the border closing for another month. So I think that takes us roughly through June. Probably around July, they may entertain that again. And that's big for us. And the folks down in Holton and you just go out through the valley. A lot of us are border towns, and we really appreciate and respect the people over there in New Brunswick. And we, you know, I personally have fell in love with the city of Edmundston. I miss it. I need to get back out there. So we are waiting for some clearance, but we got to be safe. So the Canadian border will, remain closed. There are some another article here that I pulled up, some numbers to watch. And what they've done is they've broken down this article here. Let me pull it up for you. Here on the Bangor Daily News, what they've done is they've kind of, some real quality reporting here by the Bangor Daily News. This is Charles Eckler, excuse me, and I apologize for the mispronunciation, but good luck with my last name. So the subheadings: testing capacity. You hear so much about testing. Apparently, I read something this morning. Testing capacity has now been tripled. So that's huge as they continue to try to roll stuff out. Testing capacity is big. Total cases. So you always want to know what the total cases are, and then more importantly, how many of those people have recovered. Hospitalizations and antibodies. So it's a nice little article there if you want to check it out. I don't know why I shared that screen-wise, but take a look, the Bangor Daily News. It's a lot of COVID, folks, and a lot of concern, rightfully so, on how we're going to do this. Restaurants have been given the go-ahead. Yesterday, I took my awesome daughters over there to Al's Tasty Freeze. Shout out to Al and his staff and the great workers. And the picnic tables are set up outside. So they got some ice cream, and I'm pretty boring. So I had an apple on a picnic table with my dog and drooled over their ice cream. But picnic tables are out there, and indoor seating is available at Al's, as well as multiple restaurants here throughout the valley as they try to reopen. Some are not. Some have chosen not to, and you got to respect that too. Takeout continues to be a great option for you, the consumer, to support them. 7:20, Rennie Kluge coming up at 7:30. Look out, Rennie. We're going to grill him on everything we can think of. We might even talk boxing. I don't know if any boxing fans are out there. I got my Muhammad Ali shirt on today. One of the greatest ever to do it in sports. Last Dance by the story of the Chicago Bulls dynasty wrapped up. Michael Jordan, is he the greatest ever? I mean, we could go on and on. Kobe Bryant. Is he up there? Gotta be. LeBron James still playing. There's just so many people throughout sports that we could classify as the greatest. I think Rennie Kluge is one of the greatest sports minds that I've seen in my time throughout New England. I want to take a moment here to put out a plea, to put out a shout out to the fine UMFK students who are stuck here, for lack of a better phrase. You know, they're typically what happens with a lot of our international students is, you know, they'll stay here in the summer and they'll take some extra classes. They'll get a, you know, what's called a work study job on campus and bank some money and get ready for the next academic year, because it's not cheap in a regular year to, you know, fly home to Jamaica or Serbia or Guatemala or Nepal or wherever they might be from internationally. Now with COVID-19, what has happened is borders are closed. Students either could not get out or could not afford anyway to go home. And now the jobs have been cut. So bottom line is, and they're not taking classes as far as I know. So these students are struggling. You know, you hear obviously about our local families and you know, I've had the opportunity this week to go over and help load some food onto the buses that's going out to our schools, and we are so thankful for that. But this pocket of students here in Fort Kent, I'm sure down at UMaine Presque Isle, UMaine Machias, the main systems, all the universities throughout the state and the nation, you know, they've got students that are struggling just to eat. So Channel 4, this platform, Chaz Pelletier, our producer, No Nonsense with Nicole Jandro, had a great fundraiser last Friday. It was a trivia challenge, which I would have won, by the way, if I could have participated 100%. But we had to click the lights on, Friday Night Lights. So you're welcome, people. I think I finished middle of the pack. Anyway, UMFK Cares Fund provides assistance to students at the University of Maine at Fort Kent for housing, food, heating, travel, clothing, medical, dental, and mental health or support for basic needs for which the student has no other source of funds. So that's where we're at. Let's help them out. I'm going to try to get, you know, I don't know where, if anybody out there is watching, I don't know where, I will find out. But in the meantime, contact myself here at Wake Up SJV or Chaz Pelletier, and we'll find out how to get any type of donation their way. But really, a worthwhile endeavor to help out those fine students. Just great diversity, cultures brought into this community in an effort, and great people, really. I'm throwing a little barbecue here for some of them that I consider friends on Thursday evening. We're going to cook up some chicken, and our goal is to have plenty of leftovers. Rennie Kluge coming up at 7:30. Please join us, and we'd love to hear your questions. If you have questions and you're not currently on the Facebook platform, go to Channel 4 Facebook and ask away. My coffee is getting cold and low, so I'm going to spark up some more Taylor Tiger Martin. This is live at First Mile Brewing. He played for an hour, folks, and some great stuff. Not just the fiddle. I mean, drums with his feet, just incredible stuff. So we're going to rejoin Taylor Tiger Martin here, and Rennie Kluge coming up in 4 minutes.
Thank the Lord who saved me so from all this hell. Green was the lily, green among the bushes. All that green rose a lily. Thanks, Chad Markey. You lent me this flower on. Mine's.
Sorry for the interruption. Some more Taylor Tiger Martin. Lost his shirt, looks like. Rennie Kluge in 2 minutes.
Fare thee well, sweet Liza dear, likewise soon there. And all the other boys I love, who's bound to that same. And if fortune ever should favor me, a right to have money and gold, I'll come back and I'll wed the sweet lassie I led on Patty's green shamrock show. There's one. That's going out to Dean Lord. His family. They kicked another drum on here. Come all you broken-hearted one.
Okay, that's Taylor Tiger Martin. Geez, I hopped over to my coffee machine and it was empty. So we've rebooted. Looks like Rennie Kluge is ready to join us. We're going to get prepared for him, folks. And we're going to bring him in here as soon as we put Taylor Tiger Martin on hold. This is off YouTube, like so many of our local artists. You know, you do a search here, and this was a St. Patrick's Day hoedown with Taylor Martin at First Mile Brewery. A shout out to them and what they've brought to this community. First Mile Brewing, located here on Market Street. Rolling out the 4-packs and the growlers. Not open, the tap room not open yet, but should be momentarily. Folks, it's time for Rennie Kluge. Let's bring him in and see what's going on in his neck of the woods. Good morning, Rennie Kluke. Looks like he's connecting his audio. Good morning, Rennie Kluke.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm great. You're live on Wake Up SJV. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's just like when I did the morning show at SJR back in 1976.
There you go. I'm sure
Yeah.
a much better job than us, but it is nice to, as I said, flip the script here, as you've done so much great coverage for all of Aroostook County, and you've made just great efforts throughout this area to cover all realms of sports, news, just great stuff. So thanks for getting up and joining us. Typically, Rennie, what time do you work at the office? I assume since you're there in the evenings, you don't go in at this hour.
No, I'm normally there by 8:30. Of course, I get up around 6:30, scout out everything that's going on, and into the office by 8:30 and leave by 7:30 that night. So it's it's a longer day a lot of times, but it's always something happening, something going on, and it's not just that 1 hour that we're on the news. It's all the preparation before that.
Great, awesome. So we didn't get you up out of bed. I think I have done that to you a few times with random calls.
Yeah, when you've texted me at 5:15 in the morning, you've woken me.
Well, when the school day starts for a lot of us with random meetings at 7:30 or whatnot, sometimes we just need to talk to you, my friend, because you've got such a pulse on the area, and it's been a privilege working with you throughout the years. First as I started working in sports through the University of Maine at Fort Kent, and now here at Community High School. You've just done so much. Listen, of course, the sports director and assistant news director at WAGM TV. How has COVID-19 changed the way you guys are delivering news and how you do business over there?
It's changed it so much, as in it's changed it for teachers, it's changed it for everyone. Pretty much all of our reporters now are working from home. So they're all remoting in, they're sending their stories into us, we're reading the scripts, they're doing all the editing at home, sending everything back. So that was the major change, that most of our people are at home. We're doing a lot more Zoom interviews, which we prefer in-person interviews, but in this time, a lot of times people aren't comfortable being in contact with other people, so we're doing Zoom interviews. It's almost like a focus, unfortunately. You hate to key in on one thing, but that's what everyone is talking about is COVID. And so we're keying in on that. We're still trying to make sure to do other stories. Sports-wise, there's so little going on. It's like you have to manufacture more stories. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing the salute to seniors, because all of these senior high school athletes just missed out on their whole spring season. And this is almost a tribute to them, to try to get them to, get that little exposure that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, we all feel for the seniors, the class of 2020. And I want to thank you personally for rolling that out. I know all of the athletic directors throughout Aroostook County are just amazed with what you guys have done, and great stories. I mean, that's a lot. I think, Fort Kent, where I believe 22, and to do that every evening, you've done a great job. So we appreciate that. I want to show you a picture, Rennie, I saw this morning, and you'll appreciate it. Let me screen share here. I like yourself, maybe, I don't know, I go to ESPN every morning just to check it out. But this really got me. I don't know if you can see this photo.
Okay.
So how Major League Baseball plans to restart baseball in a pandemic. But even as we got direction here lately from the MPA on kind of how stuff is going to look, take a look at this. Probably no home plate meetings, and you got an umpire with a mask on. Just surreal, isn't it? I don't know how they're going to do it. Do you have any insight, any opinion on team sports? Starting obviously here in the county and throughout the nation at all levels. How the heck are we going to do that, Rennie?
I have no idea. I know that you've been in touch with the Maine Principals Association. I talk to them pretty frequently, and I know that they're working and they're trying to do everything that they can. But on the national level, I mean, you look at what Major League Baseball shows there. I'm watching the Korean Baseball League almost every morning just because there's no other sports on, and so you're watching that and seeing the umpires with the mask with no fans, and it's just. As you're a former athlete, I don't know how you would feel performing it without any fans in the building. I mean, there's so much electricity there. How would you'd still do your best, but it's very difficult, isn't it?
It is. I remember some games where as players we laughed. I went to a small college, Westbrook College, which is now the University of New England down in southern Maine, but we had very good teams. But we'd play at the Augusta Civic Center once in a while against UMaine Augusta, and you know how big that place is.
Yeah.
And we'd show up there, and it would be just the families following us, and so that felt empty. But I could only imagine no fans. I mean, I don't know. Home court advantage probably loses all meaning. Imagine the Boston Garden back in the day, Rennie, with no fans and you're hosting the Lakers. So I don't know. I mean, I also know that I'm sure all athletes at all levels just want to get back out and compete again. So you have that, but no, it's going to be totally different for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll figure something out, because I know that a lot of the athletes want to get back to work. The NHL playoffs, Bruins were having a great year. Everyone was looking for them to win a Stanley Cup, and all of a sudden that's cut short. And the NHL is talking about a 24-team playoff, I think, possibly starting in a couple of hub cities. So all of the major sports are trying to figure something out, but I'm not confident anything is going to happen at all this summer.
No, and then at that level, it becomes a battle over, safety versus revenue, money, all comes into play, and it's tough. Listen, with no live sports, we talked about the seniors who you're covering, but what other types of stories have you gravitated to, Rennie, at WAGM?
I've been trying to do some feature stories and some stories where people have had to overcome some adversity. As in yesterday, I did Aroostook Valley Country Club. They're right there. The pro shops in the U.S., the clubhouses in Canada. The Canadians can't even come over and golf on their home course because of COVID-19 and the border being closed. So, I did that story yesterday with that traditional course that has done so well. This coming Friday, I'm talking to a harness racing driver trainer from down in Mars Hill who continues to work with his horses, but there's no harness racing right now. So it's more on the problems that he's running into by not being able to get his horses to race. So it's almost feature stories like that, just trying to a lot of times key in on a sport that people aren't always aware of. I've talked to Austin Terrio several times as he gives me insight into NASCAR and into his e-sport racing. So, you find some contacts and you just go with what you can.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you've always done an incredible job, but to have to, it's tough because, like we said, all of a sudden we don't have live sports. We don't have, right now you'd be covering baseball, softball, track, tennis, and being down as a athlete and a coach down in the southern Maine area. We were also, we were always so, I don't want to say upset, but we were, like I said, we had some quality teams and we didn't get great coverage down in Portland because, they're covering the Red Sox and they're covering all the bigger stuff. But I guess my point is you've always made it a point to focus on local sports first. And to just have, none of those games to travel around to, I'm sure is very tough.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to
Nope.
agree. It's very, very difficult to do that because, yeah, I mean, I look at a schedule and say, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here on this night or on this afternoon. And of course, I was thinking back to a week ago when we had the 35-degree weather and the snow, and I'm saying,
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad there aren't any games today.
I agree. Weather is always a challenge in both our professions, and yeah, but I miss it. When you're in it and you're rescheduling and you're looking at the weather 5 times every hour. I don't necessarily miss that, but we miss the busy shuffle. Just like you probably miss hopping in and out of your car with your camera and going from Fort Kent to Van Buren to circling around through Caribou, and then you got another reporter working. So that is something that I think we all miss, the busy shuffle. Listen,
For sure.
before I forget to ask you, I want your, I guess your opinion here. I'm going to put you on the spot because I did not send this to you ahead of time. But I don't know if you know, but next year is the 50th year anniversary of the MPA. Mark White is heading up. He's going to be the president of that next year. He's kind of leading the troops here of athletic directors into this anniversary. But anyway, they've asked, the MPA has asked all ADs to send them the best picture in the last 50 years. So I've only been at Fort Kent 5 or 6 years, and I've been up here about 20 plus. I mean, what do you think, Rennie? If you had to pick one, or maybe give me some that come to mind, but the best moments in the last 50 years of Aroostook County sports at the high school level, what comes to your mind?
Wow.
I know it's a loaded question, and I'm even trying to think of what picture do I send from Fort Kent? Boys soccer got a gold ball 2010. Our girls have done that 2 years ago. I mean, state ski championships. So I don't want to slight any of them, but they said send us one picture. I mean, what do I send? It's tough,
Yeah, because there's so much history in every community up here. I mean, one of the best moments I'm sure has to be Mike Thurston's shot from Caribou back in
I thought the
1969.
same thing. Yeah,
That would be one for sure that I think would be on a lot of people's lists. I mean, but then again, you've got Matt Rosignol being the first person to score 2,000 points in a high school game in the state of Maine in the modern era. I mean,
sure.
that
Tracy Garrett's career. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Austin Terrio, who you've already mentioned. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I don't know if I should maybe I'll just send I don't know. I was also thinking out loud here with you, maybe just send the old Warrior logo and how that's changed over time to our current. We took out the Native American imagery and we had a student, Aaron Chassie, an artist, draw up a logo. I don't know. But I was just thinking when they asked us that, what am I going to send? Maybe a collage.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe just a collage of some of the major moments from up there. I mean, you've had so much history, as you said, with skiing and with basketball. I mean, I remember back when I started in the 80s. I mean, your soccer teams up there, Terry Carpenter coaching your boys' soccer teams with so much success. And, you've had such a history up there in Fort Kent and way back in the 70s with Tom Pelletier and his success and that whole group. So, yeah, you've got a lot of stuff up there.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, but I just figured I'd throw that out to you. But, it's going to be fun. And I'm happy and proud, I guess, to mention that Mark White, the athletic administrator at Presque Isle, who is one of the most amazing athletic directors I know. I rely on him for a lot of stuff, but he's going to be heading up that group next year. We all missed out this year at the athletic administrators conference. We do the Zooms, once a week, but we're all lost, to put it frankly. We're looking for some sort of direction. I don't know if you saw the memo that went out last week by the MPA, but in a nutshell, we're remote coaching. Even if you still have your coaches on board, we're remote coaching until July 6th, Rennie, when we've told we can do something, but we don't know what. I mean, July 6th, we're not going to be playing 11-on-11 soccer all of a sudden. It's going to be gradual.
Mhm.
My guess is it'll be, small pods, they call it, groups of 10 or less doing workouts. But it's going to be a lot different. And then we don't know if there's going to be what if we start soccer, for example, after Labor Day, and cross country and golf and all the other sports. And there's another a wave comes and you shut it down again. So we just don't know. It's definitely tough times in all aspects of life.
Yeah, I'll tell you the big thing, at least, and I'm not trying to say something against the spring athletes. I'm just glad we were able to get the winter season in. Can you imagine if the tournament would have been canceled halfway through it, or the state ski meet, or something like that? I mean, luckily it happened in between sports seasons, so we were able to at least crown champions in the winter.
Yeah, a real good childhood friend of mine. His name is Dennis Barkham. He's the athletic director at Winooski High School in Vermont, which is right outside of Burlington. But anyway, in conversation with him, he said they did not finish the Vermont State Basketball Championships. And what happened, Rennie, is I'd have to double check with him, but I think they crowned. I want to say there was like 4 teams left, and they just all gave them a state title. Could you imagine? There's 4.
Wow.
In Vermont, it's divisions. So like the high school I graduated from, Essex High School, is Division 1. It's one of the bigger schools in the state, and then it's down to Division 4. But anyway, so I don't know. I mean, how do you pick up the pieces if and when we are given, like you said, you don't want to disrespect the spring athletes. So I'm trying to wrap my head around with, okay, July 6th, we get some sort of direction to go forward. I still want to give them something.
Right.
Can we play co-ed softball, do a league Wednesday nights, and have our current girls team play against some, alumni, or that way they get something. We have a batting cage outdoor that boosters donated, and time and lumber and all that. We got a net put over it last week. So that's up and running. So at least they can get some swings in, you know what I mean? But it's tough. It really is. But I will say our kids have been great, Rennie. The seniors have been awesome. They're fighting through it. And, everybody's just trying to spin it into a positive. So.
And the communities have been great. I mean, I love the community support that this group of seniors has received. I know that communities always back the schools, always back the athletes, but it almost seems they're trying to do even more so this year to make it more special for this group of kids who have lost out on their graduation, on everything that they would normally have, getting ready for graduation, getting ready for prom, getting ready for competing in the tennis or baseball or track state championship. So yeah, I see the communities have really pulled around and rallied around all of these seniors. And that's something that I really find remarkable, that has actually become the focus for so many people.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, we all feel for them. You follow going into my 6th year, I believe next year. But anyway, you follow these kids up through middle school and beyond, and you've seen them. You've covered even middle school sports, so you know how much it means to them when they get to that senior year. So what I'm really looking forward to, because I've got a pretty good gauge on what we're doing here. But graduations are going to be pretty impressive, I think, throughout Aroostook County, because I know all school officials are trying to make that as meaningful as they can for the class of 2020. So that's going to be great to see. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Let's shift gears here. I want you to take out your love of New England sports for a minute, okay? Now I'm wearing I'm wearing a Muhammad Ali shirt today that says "The Greatest," okay? And The Last Dance just finished up, following the Chicago Bulls and arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. Who do you consider, when you think of sports, to be the greatest? Who comes to mind to be the greatest of all time?
In any sport, or just
what comes to your head, my friend? You're a great sports mind, well respected. When you think the greatest, and you can trim it down. I mean, if we want to go sport by sport, we might be here all day, but
yeah,
think about everything. Like Muhammad Ali was political. He was just, he took that sport like Jordan did with basketball. He made it global. So put all that into context. You know what I mean? But who do you consider to be some of the greatest of all time as far as sports figures?
That's a really tough question because I mean you could go sport by sport, you could break everything up. I mean, Tom Brady, you've got to consider one of the greatest of all time in football, but he's still playing, has changed teams, so you lose that a little bit. I would probably go way back to, and he's not the greatest of all time, but like Joe DiMaggio or someone. I mean, I would consider someone like Joe DiMaggio who had so much charisma on and off the baseball diamond, probably is someone who had a big impact, especially there in New York and in places like that. But I'm just going way, way back on something like that, if that kind of makes sense.
It does, for sure. DiMaggio definitely came to my mind when I was thinking through this question. It's something that I've done in various different classes that I've taught revolving around sports, or even with teammates or players that I've coached. I've asked that question, and it's nice to have them back it up. Why is LeBron James, in your opinion, the greatest? Because you know how this era is, and he's starting to grow on me. I tell you what, just as a teammate, it looks like Jordan, watching The Last Dance, was a tough teammate. As much as you'd love to play with him, you'd probably hate it too. LeBron just seems like down to earth. He's going to push you, but at the same time, he's not going to, you know what I'm getting at. Jordan looked like he was tough to play with.
Right.
Although 6 championships would have been nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he would have been a great teammate. He would have definitely always been all over you for whatever mistake you may have made. So,
yeah. Rennie, today's local, we've been featuring local music because I got in trouble with YouTube and Facebook when we first started rolling this show out. So anyway, we've switched to local music and it's been awesome. Today's local artist is Taylor Tiger Martin. He's also our music teacher here at MSED 27. Is there some local artists in Aroostook County or down your way that you listen to, or you could introduce us to?
well, most of them play, of course, mainstream music, but I love the Star City Syndicate. And that's the group of music teachers. It's a 17-piece group who just play a lot of oldies, a lot of they've got a great horn section. A group up at your way that I really like is French Toast. I mean, I love listening
we featured
to
them. Yep, perfect. So Star City Syndicate, can I find them online, Rennie? Can we find them on YouTube or?
Yeah, they've got their own Facebook page.
Okay, great. We'll look them up.
Yeah, they're just, to me, a really, really solid, entertaining group. And they play a lot of festivals. They play a lot of things down here. It's a bunch of music teachers and music lovers who have gotten together. They play a lot of Chicago, a lot of Electric Light Orchestra, Casey and the Sunshine Band, those sorts of songs. And then there's a solo artist, Heath Bartley, who I really enjoy listening to, who's just really plays a lot of oldies. Once again, as you can tell, I'm old because I always talk about the 70s music. But
39, Rennie, 39, right?
Yeah. And the other one is Brad Hutchinson, who has appeared up there. He's plays a lot of Fish music or a lot of mainstream sort of, just a little alternative sort of stuff. And
hold on
and he's out of the Holton area.
I'm writing these down. Brad Hutchinson, you said?
Hutchinson, yep. And he's from the Holton area.
Awesome. Okay.
And he's appeared up in Fort Kent before.
Okay.
And has appeared at a couple of places up there. And he's a little different as far as his music style, but he appears all over the state, so he's solid too.
Gotcha. Hold on a minute here. As you were talking, my friend, I pulled up Star City Syndicate. So go on Facebook, folks, if you're out there watching, And let's take a quick listen here, Rennie. This is on their Facebook page. Looks like I gotta share this with you. Hold on a second, folks. This is pretty neat. Looks like they got a mascot or something here in the crowd. Looks like they were in costume here or something, Rennie. Looks pretty funny.
Yeah, it does. I mean, is that like Barney or something back there? Or I'm only looking on a phone, but I couldn't tell what the costume in back was.
Hold on a second here. I'm all over the place. That's Star City Syndicate. Check them out on Facebook. You know, since you still there, Rennie?
Yep.
Yeah. Since we started featuring these local musical artists, I've been amazed with the talent out there. So I'm kind of glad that I inadvertently stumbled into this transition into local musical artists, because we have so many people to feature. So check them out, Star City Syndicate. Today's local musical artist is Taylor Tiger Martin. He's a solo act. And he's very impressive too. And then Brad Hutchinson out of Holton. So we'll check that out as well. Rennie, we are approaching the 8 a.m. hour. Listen, I want to thank you, number one, for your friendship throughout the years, for your exceptional and incredible coverage, which is respected, by the way, all throughout New England. You're one of the best in the business. And we can't thank you enough. And we hope you stay safe, and your golf game is much better than mine.
I'm sure it will be. I just have to get out a couple more times. Hey, thanks, Eric. It was great spending a half hour with you, bud.
Thanks, Rennie. Thanks for your time.
Have a great day.
You too. That was Rennie Kluge, folks, from WAGM TV Sports. Also the assistant news director. Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
Coming up tomorrow on the show, we will have Mr. Legendary Coach Larry Murphy out of Fort Kent Community High School. Looks like Rennie is still live. Rennie, get out of here, man.
I thought you were going to end it. My bad.
Oh, no, I'm not very. I got about as much of a clue with technology as you. There he goes. So, yeah, tomorrow we have Larry Murphy. We're hoping that his wife will join him as well, because, quite frankly, she keeps him going straight and narrow. But we're hoping to get the Murphys on board. So much they can share with us, their knowledge, their perspective on not only what's going on now, but just the great history of this area from them. On Friday's show, to cap the week and get us into Memorial Day weekend, we're hoping to get a guest from Northern Maine Medical Center lined up. We are in talks. We're in negotiations with Joanne Fortin, who is the director of communications over there. So we're hoping to get one of those officials in, so we can chat. It's been great, folks. I want to thank Rennie Kluge for joining us. I also want to thank, inadvertently, Taylor Tiger Martin as today's featured musical artist. He was awesome. And check